hey there, all you funny jerks, come talk to Dan about your work. Tell him all about your worst times. It's the art of bombing.
The one that's really good, where I knew what I was doing and totally screwed up, was at the Joke Joint. And it was, do we name names? But anyway, it was, I was the MC. So, and then there was go ahead. We can name names.
Oh, just say you can name names if you want. That's
okay. So it was, well, anyway, I was emceeing and there was a feature and a headliner. And the headliner is someone who is very clean on stage, but very lifestyle-wise, just a mess off stage. So if you watched him, it would be like, it's like Bill Cosby, where you're like, oh, that's the most wholesome guy you've ever met. It's like, oh, he just secretly does shit. Like that guy, right? And so what the Joke Joint in Lilydale, God bless the Joke Joint, and the owner was talking with a church about letting the church rent out the comedy club on Sundays. And he didn't tell us that the 20 people in the middle of the audience were all the pastor, the deacons, the board of directors for a church that wanted to rent the building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I went on stage and told my joke about being a Jesus cougar, which now is a joke that works, about how my family, who's Southern Baptist, told me since I'm not married, I should consider being married to Jesus. And I'm like, that makes me a Jesus cougar, blah, blah, blah. And my pastor, by the way, laughed at that joke. Well, anyway, I told that joke and the entire middle of the audience was like, no. Just like, no. And I misread them. I thought they were anti-religion. Not that they were so religious that they were offended. Because in my mind, like, what you should be offended about? I thought they hated Jesus. I thought they were like Jewish or whatever.
Wow.
I went the wrong direction. So then I doubled down and said, oh, you guys hate Jesus? Guess you can't handle Jesus humor? Got something. So I went just dug it in. Like, oh, guess you can't handle anything about God. And then I said, let's talk about my vagina then.
I can just about imagine their expression.
Then I accused them of being stuck up with their ass, of not liking Jesus, and then let's talk about chick parts. And this is back when I didn't really understand the concept of there's a way to talk about things so that everyone knows what you're talking about without you being super detailed. And so I was still in my super detailed mode of, oh, let me give it to you. And there's this, at the time, there's a trifecta of female ailments that you can have in that region. And I had all three occurring at the same time. And I remember I called my mom and I was like, oh my God, Mom, this is happening to me. And my mom said, that can't happen. Nobody ever talks about that. And I'm like, the reason why they never talk about it is it's horrific. Nobody talks about it because no one wants to think about it. And that's the conversation I had with my mother, but I still thought that would be a good idea to do on stage. So I got on stage and went into detail about the tragedy that was happening in my nether regions in front of 20 people from this super conservative church. So now we're deep. We're in the hole. We're like, everyone hates me. Like, not only have the people in the middle decided to hate me, but now the people around them have absorbed said hatred. And now the whole audience is like, dirty, just like hates me. So I get off stage. I suck. I literally suck. Like, it's just horrific. I get off stage. I high five the next dude. I'm like, good fucking luck. He gets on stage and he equally digs the hole deeper because now they hate me. And he talks about drugs and all kinds of other crap. So he's deeper. Now the whole audience is having the worst show of their life. Well, then in comes cokehead Christian boy. So he walks on stage and does his jokes that are all super clean. Now, literally, he's totally on drugs right now, but they don't know that because he's super clean, right? So what bothered me is after the show, they write these comments. Back at the Joke Joint Day, they used to have comment cards, and they wrote, Wendy Maybury is a dirty girl. Like, she's a dirty, horrible person. And then the headliner, who's not a good person. Like, what a shining citizen and what a beacon of light or whatever. And by that time, the owner or the manager, I think, had clued me in that was a church visiting. So I actually cornered, because I can't let it go. You know, I have to be right. I have something wrong in my brain.
Oh, wow.
So I cornered the pastor on the porch of the joke joint and said, "Oh, I didn't realize you guys were here from a church. What religion are you?" And he was like, "Baptist." I'm like, "Oh, what kind of Baptist?" And so my mom used to work at a seminary. And so I doubled down on, I Bible versed this dude on the front porch about how God created me and with a spirit of creativity, and I should be allowed to say. I couldn't let it go. I couldn't let them walk away. I had to make them like me on the porch. It was the worst.